Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. In this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at a really cool, very fun to play bluesy minor progression. And this is something that is played in the key of A, and I'm going to show you how to play all of it note for note. Now, I went through the progression 3 times in the intro. The first time through, I played the chords, but I picked the notes out of the chords. There wasn't any strumming. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm also going to show you how to play all of the lead stuff. Most of what we're playing is in the minor pentatonic scale, and so that'll be very familiar for a lot of you. There are a few points where I deviate from that scale, but I'll call them out and I'll explain the whys behind that so that you have context for all of this. So I've got this lesson split into 2 parts. In this video we're going to take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second half, as well as download the tablature for everything that I played in the intro and the MP3 jam track that you can practice along with, you can get all of that at ActiveMelody.com. Just look for EP153. So let's go ahead and get started with part 1. Alright, let's talk through tone settings. I'm playing on the Gibson ES335, and I have the pickup selector switch on the neck pickup, and I have the tone down to about 5. Now I would do that on any electric that I'm playing on if I want this kind of jazzy, real mellow sound. You don't want it to sound too bright if you're playing this style. It sounds too twangy, I think. So stay away from the bridge pickup and hang out here on the neck pickup. The only pedal that I'm using is a delay pedal. You can use any delay pedal you've got if you want, and I've just got a little bit of slapback delay. That's all I'm using that for. It fattens up the sound a little bit. Any delay pedal will give you that. It's just a basic slapback delay. And then going into the amp and its clean channel, it's a PV Classic 20, and I have the reverb all the way up at about 5 or 50%. Alright, so that's the tone settings. So this song is really just a chord progression that starts in an A minor. Similar, you hear this in a lot of songs. There's a part in Eric Clapton's Old Love that has a walk down like this. Stairway to Heaven even uses this. But what you do is you're basically walking this note down. So that's what you're trying to do. So I'm starting here on an A minor, and let's get into this this first chord. So I'm borrowing the first 3 strings here on the 5th fret, and then on the 7th fret 4th string, use my ring finger to play that. And what I played is, that's really an A minor chord. Just think of an A minor bar chord. It's just the first 4 notes out of that. So I play string 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the timing of it. Now watch what happens. I keep the bar, but I take my ring finger off and I put my middle finger down on the 6th fret, 4th string, to play this note, which is a G sharp. And then when this finger goes down, I use my pinky. You may want to use your ring finger, which is easier, whichever is easier. But 7th fret 1st string to play that. Now what that is, that's really, if this is an A minor, this is like an A minor with a G sharp in the bass. So it'd be like an A minor over G sharp. You're also adding in this note to color that chord. But that's what I'm doing. So it's very easy with the left hand. And by the way, so once we switch to this, we're going to use the same picking pattern. It's going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see when I hit the 1 string, I hold it a little longer. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So then the next chord, remember we started here. Now that bass note will be there on the 5th fret 4th string. So what we're going to do now is bar the first 4 strings on the 5th fret, and I'm going to play. Now see what I did? I took my pinky and came up here to the 8th fret 1st string, keeping the bar down. But what I played is 4, 3, 2, and 1 at the same time. So it goes. And then I take my pinky off, and then I put my pinky back on, this time on the 8th fret 2nd string. Then take it off again. And then we're going to put it back on again, but this time it'll be 8th fret 3rd string. So you can see there's a little pattern there. So we go, let's start it over again. And then when we come down to the 8th fret 3rd string, I do a slide down to the 7th fret. So it goes like this. So you can see as soon as I play that 8th fret 4th string, I slid it down to the 7th fret. And then I took my pinky off again to play just the 5th fret. Let's back up from the beginning. We'll play up to that point. You can see you're starting to play, even though you're playing the rhythm by picking the notes out of the chords, you're playing a little lead part. I love that. And then I come down and play this. Now that's an A minor 6 with an F sharp in the bass if you're looking for the chord, but that's what we're doing. Now I'm again barring the first 3 strings on the 5th fret. This time I'm using my ring finger, and then I take my index finger and play the 4th fret 4th string and play the same picking pattern. So you go 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So then the next chord is an F major 7th. And you can see the bass walked all the way down to here. So it started here, went down 1, went down 1, went down 1, and then came down to here. So it makes sense when you hear all of those chords in progression. Now that F major 7th I played. So it's down, down, up, down. And then I went. That's a C sus4. So for that, we're hanging on to this, barring the first, this time the first 4 strings here on the 5th fret. And I'm going to start by hitting the 5th fret 4th string. And then my ring finger goes down, or you may use your middle finger for that, but it's on the 6th fret, 2nd string. And then we're going to play strings 4, 3, and 2. That's a C sus4. So it's like that. And then the last note is a C with an E in the bass. And the way that I'm making that, again, I'm barring the first 4 strings on the 5th fret. I just put my ring finger down here on the 5th string, 7th fret. And that's just kind of an easy way to make that C since we're already in position there with the C, sus. And see how those 2 chords go together. Now I know some of you would be saying, well, why would you pick this? Why wouldn't you just make a C like this? Well, I could do it down here. But what I always do is I try and minimize movement with my left hand. So if I'm, and this is another reason why it's really good to learn your chords in different voicings up the neck. So if I'm making a C sus chord here, I'm going to look for something that's right in this area. Well, I know that I've got a C that I can play like this instead of this or this. So that's the reason for it, just minimal movement. Okay, let me back up now and let's walk through the entire progression here, starting with that A minor. Now I went just to kind of fill out the rest of the space of that measure. So after I played the C chord, I kept my bar, and then I played strings 4 and 3, and I hammered on to the 7th fret 4th string, released it, playing strings 4 and 3 again, and then this comes down on the 7th fret 5th string. And then the song at this point goes to an E7th, but instead of playing an E7 down here, I thought, well, where do I have one right here? Well, look, I can actually keep my ring finger in position there on the 7th fret 5th string, and the rest of my fingers can come off the fretboard and fall into place to make an E7 chord in this position. Now this chord shape is the same as a C7. If you know how to make a C7 down in first position, same chord shape. So within it is a little D7 chord shape. There's another little trick, a way to think of it. So if you know how to make a D7, you're doing that here. So you got your middle finger, or your ring finger, and your pinky on the 7th fret, strings 5 and 3, and your middle finger is on the 6th fret, 4th string. And then you just put your index finger down the 5th fret, 2nd string. So that's an E7. And then the way that I played the E7, I just went 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that is the entire setup of the first half. Or not the first half, the first time through. Now I played through it 3 times. So the first time I just defined the chords. And that's what I would do if I was playing with a band. You wouldn't just necessarily jump right into a solo. You're just kind of establishing boundaries at this point. Now the second time through, I went into this little lead part. And as I mentioned in the intro, most of this is going to be in the A minor pentatonic scale, which is good. Because I think most of us know this. If you don't know what the A minor pentatonic scale, check out the blues lead course that I have for premium members at Active Melody. I go through all of the different patterns of there's 5 patterns of the minor pentatonic scale. So this first lick that we're going to learn is in pattern 1. So our root fret is the 5th fret when we're playing A, and pattern 1 looks like that. So this first little lick, it's actually breaking out of the minor pentatonic scale and into the blues scale because of this one note. And I get nicked on one of the videos I put up on YouTube years ago, like 6 years ago, where I called the minor pentatonic scale the blues scale. What's the difference between the blues scale and the minor pentatonic scale? It's that one note. It's just you add that one note into the minor pentatonic scale, you got the blues scale. So that's the note. So anyway, let's get into this lick. It starts here on the 7th fret, 4th string. Then I go to the 5th fret, 3rd string, 7th fret, 3rd string. Those are your first 3 notes. And then watch this. So I picked it once and did a slide up to the 8th fret on the 3rd string, back to the 7th fret, and then I did a pull off to the 5th fret. All that happened on the 3rd string. And then after I did the pull off, I did a hammer on to the 7th fret, 4th string. So you can see I actually only picked that. So picked that one time. And I did all 4 of those notes, 1, 2, 3, actually it's 5, by doing a slide, pull off, and a hammer on. And when you can get it up to speed, it's a great little jazzy, bluesy lick to use in your playing. You can do it here. You can also do it an octave higher here. This would be pattern 2. So remember that lick. Some people do it like this. Do it like a hammer-on pull-off with their pinky. I've never been able to do that very well. I've been more efficient by doing a slide. Okay, so that's the first lick. And then I went... So now I slide from pattern 1 up to pattern 2. So we start here on the 7th fret, 4th string. We're going back to the 5th fret, 3rd string, back to the 7th fret, 3rd string. We've already done those 3 notes. Now I'm going to slide from the 7th fret up to the 9th fret on the 3rd string. And then I'm going to play the 10th fret, 2nd string. Now look at where we're at. There's pattern 2, right? Pattern 2 is just a little extension off of pattern 1, and pattern 3 is an extension off pattern 2. They just extend each other. So that's what we're doing. We're going starting in pattern 1, sliding up to pattern 2. Now watch this, like that is breaking out of the minor pentatonic scale. This is really one of the only places we're going to do this in this whole solo. And what I did was, I'm here on the 10th fret, 2nd string. I came down to the 9th fret, 2nd string, back to the 10th fret, and then the 7th fret, 1st string. And that's the lick. Now you can see that it's got kind of, by breaking out of the pentatonic scale, what I'm playing is I'm playing the minor scale, the natural minor scale. Some of these notes, like that note, wouldn't be in the minor pentatonic, but it sounds so good to resolve on that note in a minor. So then the question is, why this note? Why can you resolve on that note? Well, if you're playing a minor, if something's in a minor chord, if there's a minor chord under it, just remember this. This is the easiest way to explain it. Take your minor pentatonic scale and just add that note into it. It's a great note to add because it works, you know, even as the chords change. Even if we went to a D minor. So you have this note, and you've also got it right here. So just think about the minor pentatonic scale. There it is once. And then there it is again. So you just kind of slide it down from this position. And what you're doing is you're playing the minor scale, and that's why that works. So just adding that one note can really color your leads. And you've got it in different positions and the different patterns, but that's the note to find. And so just remember that if you're playing a lead. It's kind of nice. It really colors it to resolve on that, as opposed to right on the pentatonic. It becomes too almost predictable to me. So the next thing that I played was, and that was right out of pattern 2. And so I started it here on the 7th fret 1st string, did a hammer on the 8th fret 1st string, back to the 7th fret. Then I came down to the 10th fret 2nd string. And then there's the 9th fret 3rd string. And then there's the 8th fret 2nd string. So look at these notes. There's pattern 2 right there. So you can see I'm just dancing around pattern 2, starting with this introduced note that I showed you that works in that minor scale. Okay, let's start from the beginning of this lead. Alright, so the next lick that I played, which was over the A minor 6 with the F sharp in the bass, this chord, I played, just came down, very simple little lick. And again, it's using that blues scale note, this note. So I actually started on that note, which is the 8th fret 3rd string. And as soon as I played it, I slide down to the 7th fret, 5th fret on the 3rd string, 7th fret 4th string, 5th fret 3rd string. Now, if some of you are lost, if you're listening to this going, wait a minute, I don't even know where he is in this thing. This is where the jam track really becomes powerful. I'm obviously breaking it down and showing you how to play it here, but if you've got the jam track, I've got a version of me playing it so you can hear that audio track and listen and play along with that. And then I've got a version without me playing it so you can fill in the gaps. So it'll make a lot more sense as you hear the band playing behind you with the strings and the piano playing these different chords. And for those of you that think I talk too much, I do have a version on the site for premium members of a slow walkthrough with no talking at all. Just play through it. Just wanted to throw that in. Alright, so from the beginning of the lead part, let me play the chords along with it to give it a little reference. So we have the A minor chord, and we have, here's your first lick, here's your next chord. So you can see what I'm doing with these little parts, these little broken leads. I'm phrasing it in the way that you would sing it. And that's what I hear when I play lead over something like that. I hear somebody singing, saying something right there, you know. So think of it that way. Now that next chord would be the F major 7th, and then I play that lick. So I started here on the 5th fret 1st string, 8th fret 2nd string, 5th fret 2nd string. Then I barred this so that I could play the 5th fret 1st string again. and then back to the 8th fret 2nd string. So it makes a little cycle. And that's just pattern 1. And then I play a very Eric Clapton lick. Obviously one of my heroes. I use his stuff all the time, but love that. It's just it's a sweeping motion I hear when I hear that. And to play that, I'm starting here on the 7th fret 3rd string with my middle finger sliding up to the 9th fret. So we're really going up to pattern 2 from pattern 1. And then there's 8th fret, 10th fret on the 2nd string. And then we're going to go right back. As soon as we hit the 9th fret, 3rd string, we're sliding right back to the 7th fret. 5th fret, 3rd string. There's 7th fret, 5th fret on the 4th string. And then that last note is behind the 5th fret, 3rd string. So you can just go ahead and bar that and let both of those notes ring out. It's almost like a little mini chord that kind of rings out. Okay. The slide on that is absolutely critical to give. If I just played the notes straight, it would sound so flat and so dead. So then as the song goes to the E7 chord, I played a little bluesy turnaround. And what I'm doing is I'm playing all these notes on the 3rd string. In fact, I start on the 5th fret, 7th fret. I go 5, 7, 9 up to the 9th fret, 8, 7, and then a slide back to the 7th. And that little note there is a passing note. It's also that blue note in the blues scale. That's why it gives it such a bluesy sound by adding that one note in there, 8th fret, 3rd string. And I just slid in and gave it some vibrato. And then we go into that final lap through this whole thing. So that we did the first lap, which is picking the notes out of the chords. The second one, which we just learned. And then the third one I'm going to save for the part 2 video. And we'll get into a lot of the string bends and some of the licks that are played higher in the neck. Now I just wanted to point out that what I'm doing from a dynamic standpoint is I'm starting low, starting simple, and then we're building it up, and we're building it up to here, and then we're going to get even higher. So it just kind of, as it progresses, the lead kind of progresses. You never want to start in your high position. Well, I shouldn't say never, but generally speaking, if you listen to a really accomplished solos, they start simple and small, and then they work their way up to something big, a big crescendo, and then back down to kind of get out of it, back down to, the chords or whatever. All right, let me play through everything. I'll do this as you have one final playthrough, and I'll play through it slowly. So here we go. So that's what we have in this part 1. I'll see you in part 2. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. This has been a lot of fun to put together. See you in part 2.